TV. I'm your host Ilyas Bulbulia and I'll be with you for the next hour. As our regular viewers are aware, on Just Law we normally discuss an area of English law which may be of interest to our viewers. And secondly, and more importantly, it gives you, the viewers, the opportunity to call in and ask us any questions that you have on any aspect of English law. On this program, we should be able to cover most aspects of law, from immigration matters, family matters, criminal matters, road traffic matters, etc. So whatever questions you've got, whatever queries you've got, please do call in and ask us those questions, and inshallah we should be able to give you some guidance, some assistance on whatever your queries or your concerns are. Just a couple of matters before we get going. Obviously it's a live show, so we're not able to look at any documents that you have, and we're only able to take brief instructions from you live on air. If it's the case that I do need to look at your documents, or I need to take very detailed instructions from you, then obviously I'll ask you to leave your number with the control room and I will have a more detailed discussion with you later on. But what I will aim to do, and I think in the majority of cases, I would say in 99% of cases, I am able to provide you with quite accurate and I would hope helpful advice live on air without the need to look at your documents. Normally what we do is we tend to discuss a topic. Today's topic is something that I was discussing a couple of weeks ago before we had the Eid break, which is how to make a successful application. So what I want to do is carry on with that. But as always, it's a live show. The number that you can call on should appear at the bottom of the screen. So please do pick up your phone and ask us any questions that you have. Inshallah, we'll try and address them the best we can. Now, it's quite topical, the fact that we're talking about spouse applications, because we still find that a lot of people are asking questions about the 18,600 rule. Now, what is this rule? This rule is the minimum income requirement that a sponsor in the UK generally has to meet if the sponsor wants to sponsor somebody from abroad. So for example, if you've got a sponsor in the United Kingdom, a husband and wife, they want to call their partner over from abroad, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, wherever it is, they need to be earning a certain amount of money. In general terms, it's your income which is looked at, although there are exceptions to that which we will address later on. But in general terms, you need to be earning as a sponsor 18,600 to be able to sponsor your partner to come to the United Kingdom. Now, what's happened as far as that is concerned is that from the 10th of August, new rules have been introduced. Now, it's not the case that the 18,600 minimum income requirement has been abolished, as seems to be the rumours going around on WhatsApp, or certainly there are clips going around on WhatsApp which seems to suggest, look, there's no 18,600 requirement anymore. It doesn't matter how much the sponsor is earning, you're able to sponsor your husband or wife to come over irrespective of the 18,600 income. That's not the case at all. All that has happened is that new rules have been introduced whereby in exceptional circumstances, the Home Office is prepared to look at alternative means of funding, which is something they don't do or weren't doing previously, which could be, they could look at the partner's income when he or she comes over to the United Kingdom. They may look at any third-party support which may be available for a long period of time, or any other source of income for that matter. So all that the rule which was introduced on the 10th of August 2017 is saying is that in exceptional circumstances, so not in your run-of-the-mill cases, not in your normal spouse application, but in exceptional circumstances, the Home Office will look at other sources of income. And what I try to impress upon people is that when you make a spouse application, you should always try and meet the normal rules, which is in most cases 18,600. There are exceptions to that, and we're going to look at that in greater detail later on. That normally would be an application which stands the best chance of being successful. As I keep on reiterating, there may be an exceptional case. For example, the wife in the United Kingdom who has a baby and therefore is only able to work part-time because she is looking after the child. The Home Office may see that as an exceptional case, but it's going to be very limited cases which are going to fall within this category of exceptional cases, and it's only in those cases where the Home Office is prepared to look outside the existing rules towards other means of income. So as a whole, the position still remains that the 18,600 requirement continues to apply, and there are only limited circumstances when you can look outside the rules. Now that's as far as any updates are concerned. I mean, apart from that, there hasn't been any real major updates over the last few weeks. So that's that. Now, if I turn to the topic for today, which is making spouse applications, and what I particularly want to do today is talk about the situation where we all know about the 18,600 rule. Particularly want to talk about how there are other ways in which the financial requirement can be met without somebody earning £18,600. So I want to look at that in a bit of detail today. But as always, it's a live show. It doesn't really matter if we're talking about spouse applications. If you have any questions, whether it's immigration law or any other matters, please do pick up the phone and ask us any questions that you have. Now then, returning to the financial requirement, what other ways are there by which somebody can meet the financial requirement? Okay, the 18,600 requirement is there, and there are in many cases great difficulties in meeting that. We know that. But are there any other ways in which the financial requirement can be met? In practice, the main sort of exception, if you call it that, to the 18,600 rule is where somebody is in receipt of certain benefits. If you are in receipt of certain benefits, you do not need to be earning 18,600 in order to sponsor your husband or wife to come to the United Kingdom. The key thing is, what are these benefits? Well, generally speaking, they fall into two distinct categories. The first category is benefits relating to somebody's disability. So if your sponsor is in the United Kingdom, suffers from a disability and is receiving disability benefits, for example, disability living allowance, attendance allowance, or PIP, the personal independence payment benefit. So if they are receiving a disability related benefit, and that disability related benefit is one that falls into the category listed in the immigration rules, then the applicant in that case would not have to meet the 18,600 requirement. The second category is where the sponsor himself or herself is not disabled, but is actually caring for a disabled person and is receiving carer's allowance. So in both categories, it is not sufficient for category 1 to be disabled, or category 2, if we call it that, for somebody to be caring for somebody. In category 1, you need to be disabled and receiving the relevant disability benefits. In category 2, if we call it that, you need to be caring for somebody and receiving carer's allowance. So in general terms, who receives carer's allowance? Carer's allowance is received by people who are caring for somebody who has a disability and is in receipt of certain benefits, and those benefits are paid at a certain rate, which means that they can have somebody who cares for them and that person qualifies for carer's allowance. So if you have somebody, a sponsor, who falls into that category, then there is some flexibility for the applicant in that situation. The flexibility being that the 18,600 requirement doesn't apply. There is, however, another requirement which applies in that situation, and that is that the sponsor's income should still be sufficient for the sponsor to be able to adequately maintain and accommodate the partner who's coming to the United Kingdom to join the sponsor. Now, what does having sufficient income to maintain and accommodate someone in the United Kingdom mean? Essentially, it means that the sponsor's income has to be at or above the level at which income support is paid. So for a couple, a husband and wife, and there are no children, a couple would normally receive, for income support, they would receive approximately £115 a week. So that's the starting point. If it's a couple, they need to be earning, or the sponsor needs to be earning, approximately £115 a week. If there's a child involved, you have to factor in the cost of the child. Generally speaking, the cost with the child involved would mean that the sponsor would need to be earning or receiving £200 in total. We'll take our first call and then we'll address this in greater detail. Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
जी, thank you for calling. जी भाई, आपका what's your question?
मेरा नाम जाहिद है
जी,
और मुझे आपसे ये पूछना है कि मेरी शादी हुई है 1.5 years ago.
All right, okay.
And I go British baby.
Okay.
And I just go register married few weeks last week.
Okay.
And I send all documents because I'm not allowed to work in this country.
Okay, Zahid, do you have a visa at the moment or?
No. I'm not allowed to work. I haven't got visa.
Okay, no problem. I understand.
Yeah. But my wife, she go indefinite leave.
Okay.
And she's also pregnant as well, like 6 months.
Okay, all right, okay. So
and I have a baby, and she gonna leave the job. She used to work as a part time.
Okay.
And she going to leave the job like in from tomorrow or something.
Okay, all right.
And we just getting only child benefit, which is £80 or £85 a month.
I understand. Yep.
We're not getting any child tax credit or anything else. We did apply for child tax credit.
Yeah.
And they're asking my national insurance number. How can I get national insurance number? Because I'm not allowed to work. I haven't got any visa.
I understand.
So there's any possibility we can speak to them?
This is a common problem. This has become a very common problem where the moment, for example, in your situation, your wife, the moment she tells them that, look, I have a partner, the moment she tells them that, they say, give us his national insurance number. And obviously you don't have a national insurance number, and they put a stop on the claim straight away. Now, the problem is, even if you explain to them that, look, just give me the money as an individual. If you want, don't count me or don't consider the claim as a joint claim. Consider me as an individual. I still have a child. I've got another one on the way. So give me my entitlement to child tax credits as an individual. Don't give me anything for my partner.
Yeah.
But even then, they, in my experience, they don't seem to take that on board at all. They will keep the application on hold until you provide the national insurance number for yourself. I think the only thing that your wife can do is say, look, I am not making a joint claim. I am making a claim as an individual. So she claims income support, she claims child tax credits, and say, look, consider, if you're not prepared to take my husband into account because he doesn't have a national insurance number, he's an overstayer, consider me as an individual. And to push them really to make a decision on that. But this query that you've raised is becoming an increasing problem. And it's really simply over the last 6 months to a year that this problem has cropped up. Before that, they were happy granting child tax credits to a couple where...
My baby like nearly 7.5 months old.
What's happened to your claim then? Has it simply just been put on hold at the moment?
Yeah, because I submitted my case like 3-4 months ago, and they gave me marriage permission. I can get registered marriage, and I did like 2 weeks ago, and I sent them marriage certificate, everything.
Okay.
So picture, photo, and everything.
I think the other problem is this: the application that you've submitted at the moment on the FLRFP. Those applications are taking a long time to decide at the moment. They're taking approximately 10 months to decide. So that's going to take 10 months to decide. The difficulty you've then got is you're not going to get, your wife isn't going to be given child tax credits for 10 months. So, that's a real difficulty. I think, look, push them to say, look, consider the claim as an individual claim. If you're not prepared to take my husband into account because he doesn't have a national insurance number, I think that's all you can do.
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah, yes, sure.
There's any possibility we can write the Home Office that my wife, she's not working because she's nearly like six months pregnant now, and I haven't got permission to work. They can give me a little bit permission, like 20 hours or something. There's any possibility there? Or
Zaid, brother, you can write, but one is they won't respond, and secondly, even if they do respond, they will say no, because their rules don't allow for somebody who's an overstayer to work at all. So I personally, if I was in your situation, I wouldn't even bother writing. I wouldn't bother writing to them at all.
All right, that's fine. Thank you very much for your help.
No problem. Thank you very much for calling.
Thank you very
much. Thank you. We'll take our next call. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
वालेकुम सलाम
जी,
मैंने आपसे ज़रा इन्फॉर्मेशन लेनी थी कि मेरी बेटी इधर यूके में है
जी, ठीक है,
तो उनकी फैमिली बेनिफिट्स में है, हस्बैंड जो है वो भी बेनिफिट पे है और बेटी जो है वो भी
जी जी।
तो क्या मेरी बेटी मुझे ये इसकी इमिग्रेशन के लिए कर सकती है स्पॉन्सर?
किसको स्पॉन्सर करेगी वो बेटी आपकी?
हमें एल्डरली पेरेंट्स हैं, हमारी एक ही बेटी है और जी हमारा मतलब ओल्ड एज है हम दोनों
जी। आप यूके में ही है अभी?
जी, हम लोग इस वक्त यूके में।
किस बेसिस पे है यूके में अभी
जी?
आप जो विजिट पे आए हैं या?
जी, हम लोग विजिट पे हैं, हमारा 2 इयर्स का है वीज़ा
जी।
तो हम अब ये सोचते हैं कि मतलब हमारा पाकिस्तान में अकेले सर्वाइव करना बड़ा मुश्किल है।
जी जी, समझ गया। जी जी।
तो बेटी का भी यही है और मेरे हस्बैंड का भी कि अगर हम लोग इधर सेटल हो जाएं।
आपकी एज क्या है अभी?
मेरी एज 60 है और हस्बैंड 72 हैं।
72 है। आपकी हेल्थ कैसी है अभी?
हेल्थ अल्लाह का शुक्र है, अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह हम दोनों ठीक हैं।
माशाल्लाह। राइट, ओके। असल में अभी प्रॉब्लम ये है कि ये आपकी जो बेटी है उसका बेनिफिट्स का इतना कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। मेन प्रॉब्लम है ये है कि ये यूके गवर्नमेंट ने ऐसा लॉ बनाया है कि एल्डरली पेरेंट्स को स्पॉन्सर करना मुश्किल हो गया है। वो उसने ऐसा लॉ बनाया है कि वो आपके जो पेरेंट्स होते हैं एल्डरली, तो इतने बीमार होने चाहिए वो कि वो बेड पे हो और या उसका कोई लुक आफ्टर करने वाला कोई नहीं है। सो कोई इसको कपड़ा पहनाने वाला चाहिए, खिलाने वाला चाहिए, बाथरूम में ले जाए, सब उसकी पर्सनल जो केयर है उसकी ज़रूरत उसको है। और पाकिस्तान में, इंडिया जहाँ भी है, कोई उसको पर्सनल केयर करने के लिए नहीं है, तो वो लोगों को वो वीज़ा देने के लिए तैयार है। मगर ये है ना कि उसके लिए मेडिकल एविडेंस भी मांगते हैं एट्सेट्रा। सो मेरा एक्सपीरियंस में तो ये है कि अगर आप पाकिस्तान जाकर अप्लाई करेंगे तो बिगेस्ट प्रॉब्लम ये आएगा, वो कहेंगे कि आप जो यहाँ एक कैटेगरी है एडल्ट डिपेंडेंट रिलेटिव, तो वो कैटेगरी में आप आते ही नहीं हैं, बिकॉज आपकी जो हेल्थ है, आपका हस्बैंड की जो हेल्थ है, वो ऐसी नहीं है कि पर्सनल केयर की कोई ज़रूरत है। वो तो पर्सनल केयर तो वो तो ऐसी बात है जो बिल्कुल बेड पे होते हैं ना, वो चल भी नहीं सकते, बाथरूम में भी नहीं जा सकते, कपड़े भी नहीं पहन सकते, वो तो इस लोगों के लिए वो कहते हैं कि हाँ
एक्चुअली हमारी फैमिली के जो इंटरनल प्रॉब्लम है ना वो इस तरह के हैं कि बच्ची की जो बेटी है वो भी स्पेशल नीड में है
जी,
और काफ़ी मतलब वो हाइपर है और उसको काफ़ी इस चीज़ का, जब हम लोग यहाँ आए हैं ना
जी,
तो अपने ग्रैंड फादर के साथ बड़ी अटैच्ड है और उसको काफ़ी मतलब वो बड़ी हाइपर हो जाती है कि जब हम जाने का नाम ले रहे हैं ना तो वो बड़ा लड़ती है, मारती है आगे से में कि आप लोग ना जाएं, इधर ही रह जाएं, मैं आपको वापस नहीं भेजना चाहती।
हाँ, अब जो ये बात करते हैं वो सही ठीक है और ये एक प्रॉब्लम है, मगर माई व्यू इज़ दिस कि आपने जैसा आपने सिचुएशन डिस्क्राइब किया, आप यूके से, पाकिस्तान से, यूके से जहाँ से भी एप्लीकेशन डालने में कोई फ़ायदा नहीं है।
जी जी।
कोई लोग ये भी करते हैं कि यहाँ वो आ जाते हैं, फिर ऐसे फैमिली को उसकी ज़रूरत।
हम लोग एक्चुअली 2006 से आ रहे हैं, आते हैं मिलके चले जाते हैं बच्ची को, हमें कोई नहीं है मसला, लेकिन अब حالت یہ ہے کہ میرے ہسبینڈ جو ہیں وہ بیسیکلی وہ ڈائبیٹک ہیں
جی,
اور میرا بھی اکیلے سروائیو کرنا وہاں بڑا مشکل ہے کیونکہ ان کے پاؤں میں کبھی تکلیف کوئی زخم بن گیا کچھ ہو گیا میں اکیلی ان کی لک آفٹر نہیں کر سکتی اور کوئی بچہ نہیں ہے ہمارا.
جی میں سمجھ گیا, مگر پرابلم کیا ہے کہ چلو نہیں آپ نے کہا کہ چلو ہم کچھ کریں گے, بیٹی کو بھی ضرورت ہے, اس کے بچے کو بھی ہم ہیلپ کریں گے, اگر اپنا اپلیکیشن ڈال دیا تو پھر ایک بڑا پرابلم وہاں سے شروع ہو جائے گا. جب اپلیکیشن سسٹم میں ہوگا تو آپ کو یہ ہوگا کہ ہمارا کیس چل رہا ہے, مگر یہ لوگ ریفیوز کریں گے, اپیل دیں گے, نہیں دیں گے, پھر آپ کے پیچھے پڑ جائیں گے. تو مجھ کو لگ رہا ہے اس سے بہتر یہی ہے. سم پیپل یہ بھی کرتے ہیں کہ اگر وہ نہیں جانے والے ہیں تو سم ٹائمز وہ رہتے ہیں یہاں, اپلائی ہی نہیں کرتے ہیں. مگر جب اپلائی کرتے ہیں جب اپلائی کرتے ہیں تو پھر آپ اس کے سسٹم میں آ جاتے ہیں, اور جب آپ کا کیس ریفیوز ہوتا ہے تو پھر وہ آپ کو
ہمارے لیے پرابلم ہوگی,
زیادہ پرابلم ہوگا. پھر اگر آپ واپس چلے بھی جائیں گے نا پاکستان تو آنا بھی مشکل ہے.
وہ نہیں ہماری اپلیکیشن کو کنسیڈر نہیں کریں گے.
سو مجھ کو لگتا ہے کہ اپلیکیشن ڈالنے میں تو بالکل کوئی فائدہ نہیں ہے, بالکل کوئی فائدہ, کیونکہ بہت ایسے کیسز دیکھے ہیں جو سم ٹائمز وہ لوگ سلسٹرز کے پاس گئے ہیں, وہ سلسٹر نے کہا کہ نہیں یہ ایسا ہو جائے گا, ہم پہلے بھی ہوا ہے نے, وہ اپلیکیشن ڈال دیتے ہیں, پھر وہ ٹربل میں آ جاتے ہیں, پھنس جاتے ہیں.
تھینک یو ویری مچ, آپ نے بڑا اچھا مجھے مشورہ دیا ہے.
نو پرابلم, جزاک اللہ, تھینک یو ویری مچ. اوکے, السلام علیکم. So just going back to what we were discussing before we received those calls, which is how can you meet the financial requirement for a spouse application without having to meet the 18,600 requirement? What are the exceptions to the 18,600 requirement? And one of the things that I was looking at was those people who fall into certain categories. They are either in receipt of disability related benefits, which are defined in the immigration rules, or they are caring for somebody who receives disability benefits, and they are receiving carers allowance themselves. So if they fall into a certain category, then they do not need to meet the 18,600 requirement, but they still need to be earning enough money for them to be able to look after themselves and their husband or wife who they are sponsoring from abroad. For a single person, they need to be receiving £115 a week, so that will cover a husband and the wife together. We'll take our next call and then we'll return to this topic. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
وعلیکم السلام. I think میں نے آپ کو پہلے بھی کال کیا تھا regarding my entrepreneur visa.
Okay, yeah.
جس کا ابھی it's more than a year now.
All right, okay.
And I just wanted to know what's happening with this entrepreneur visas.
تو آپ کا اپلیکیشن جو آپ نے سبمٹ کیا ہے 1 سال ہو گیا آپ کا.
جی.
تو 1 سال میں پھر کیا ہوا آپ کے ساتھ؟ اس نے آپ کو انٹرویو میں بلایا؟
ہاں, وہ انٹرویو میں بلایا تھا, جیسے میں آپ کو بتائی تھی نا کہ وہ ٹوائک کا بھی ایگزام کا ایشو تھا, تو اس کے بعد کچھ مجھے تو ان لوگوں نے کوئی انٹیمیشن یا کوئی ریجیکشن نہیں بتایا اس کے لیے.
سو آپ کا صرف ٹوائک کا ہی انٹرویو ہوا؟ مگر
نہیں, وہ تو بہت لانگ بیک ہوا تھا. اس کے بعد میں نے آئلس لکھ کر ہم نے آئلس کے فارم سبمٹ کیے ہیں.
سر آئلس کے؟ سوری
جی.
اوکے, سر دوسرا انڈیفینٹ لیو کا اپلیکیشن سبمٹ کیا ہے؟ سوری
نہیں, ابھی تک تو نہیں کیا, صرف یہ ویزا ایکسٹینشن کے لیے کیا ہے.
اوکے, آلرائٹ, اوکے. مگر کوئی ایشو تھا ٹوائک کا, تو اس کے لیے آپ کو اس نے انٹرویو میں بلایا تھا؟
ریگارڈنگ ٹوائک کے نہیں بلایا تھا, لیکن جسٹ ٹو نو what is going on with my business. They just want to make sure whether I know my business or not.
All right,
that's what I felt.
Okay, so مگر ٹوائک کا کوئی کویشچنز پوچھے تھے اس نے آپ کو؟
نہیں پوچھا تھا, انہوں نے نہیں پوچھا, کچھ نہیں پوچھا.
تو پھر ایسا لگتا ہے کہ ابھی تک تو صرف اس نے وہ نارمل بزنس ریلیٹڈ انٹرویو کیا نا, صرف بزنس کا انٹرویو کیا. سو وہ تو اسٹینڈرڈ ہے, رفلی ود ان اباؤٹ 6-7 months after applying وہ بزنس کا انٹرویو کرتے ہیں, وہ اسٹینڈرڈ کویشچنز کہ واٹس یور ٹرن اوور ہے, where have you spent money etc. سو آپ نے وہ اسٹینڈرڈ کر لیا انٹرویو. آپ کو یہ لگتا ہے کہ شاید ٹوائک کے لیے بلائیں گے آپ کو, ایسا لگتا ہے؟
آپ نے جب میں نے آپ کو لاسٹ کال کیا تھا تو آپ نے بتایا تھا کہ مے بی دے ول کال می اگین.
اگر آپ نے وہ ٹوائک کیا ہے, اگر آپ نے ٹوائک کا کیا ہے اینڈ دیر از این ایشو ود دیٹ ٹوائک, تو وہ بلائیں گے آپ کو انٹرویو کے لیے. اینڈ موسٹ لائکلی دین کہ آپ کا جو ڈیلے ہے نا, دیٹس واٹ دا ڈیلے از موسٹ لائکلی. because anybody who's done the ETS TOEIC test after 2003 या middle of 2003 वो सबको interview के लिए बुलाते हैं. So आपको the only thing you can do at the moment is सिर्फ आप उसको phone करके पूछ सकते हैं what's going on, and then you just have to wait and see what's going on. Jazakallah, thank you very much for your call. We're now going to a short break. We'll be back in the next few minutes. Thank you.